Hey guys, and welcome back to Eyes Forward Co. Today we're continuing on from the last video, part one of building a racing sim. And so far we got the frame, the seat, everything set up there. The one thing that we didn't get to finish is getting the electronics put onto the rig, and that's because none of it had arrived yet. We had paid for overnight shipping, however some things happened with FedEx and they're not the easiest to work with, but everything did show up now. So yeah, we got the Fanatec CSL series. We're only running the 5 Newton meter kit right now. The most I've ever had personally was a G29 or a G920. And this is almost double the force feedback that those produce. So I wanted to start off with 5 Newton meters just to give myself a good baseline. It's been a while since I've sim driven and sim drifted. So it'll be really nice to get back on a wheel, but the big purpose for this is in Arizona, it gets extremely hot, and I get heat stroke really easy. So I wanted to make sure that over the summer, I'm not losing much muscle memory, if any, and this was the best way that we could do that. So, so far, we've already gotten the wheelbase mounted onto its mounting surface, I guess we'd call it. I didn't film that only because depending on your actual cockpit, your mounting solution is going to be a little bit different. The nice thing is that Fanatec does provide drilling templates for their wheelbases and pedals. As long as you print it at 100% scale, it will transfer from paper to real life. So I went ahead and just mocked that up on my lunch break during work today and got those holes drilled and the wheelbase mounted. So right now what we need to do is get the wheelbase onto the rig, and then we can kind of figure out where the pedals are going to be and then get all of that stuff secured. So we got the monitor mount set up. It's not perfectly even. I mean, it's about as even as I was gonna get it. As long as this side looks okay and those two are lined up together, it's all right. I knew there was gonna be a couple things that were a little crooked, but overall, I think that'll do her. The next step is going to be getting the shifter and the pedals where they need to be. However, we just had family fly in town, so for now we're going to leave off on here. We're not skipping to the next video yet. I'm just going to skip till tomorrow, or whenever I can pick the camera up again. That being said, we'll be right back and we'll get the pedals and the shifter done. All right, back home, we went out and had dinner with the folks. Our daughter's down for, we call it bed. She probably won't be asleep for an hour. She just kind of
does her own thing.
Yeah, hangs out and chills. Kid things, but we're gonna go ahead and get back into, we're gonna mount the shifter and drill all the holes for the pedals. I should be able to get 3 of the 5 bolts for the pedals in tonight. I didn't read the instructions as thoroughly as I could have, and I realized that the 2 front bolts on the pedals are M6, not M8, and I have a lot of M8, so we're gonna end up having to go to the hardware store again, but that's okay.
Yeah, because we're gonna go in the morning and we can get coffee.
That's how you win. But I'm gonna jump to getting the holes for the shifter drilled, and then we'll go from there, because the pedals aren't gonna be as fun. All right, so I accidentally made a whoopsie. The bolts that I had purchased to go through the pedals and the shifter are about 5 millimeters too short. So bolting everything down is gonna have to wait till tomorrow, which is the 4th of July. Luckily, our hardware store is open tomorrow, so we're gonna have to make a run in the morning and get bolts for everything. Luckily, I still have the packaging for this. I think the receipt's somewhere, so I can return the hardware because they're not cheap there. But that being said, because we can't do that, I might as well start running cables and figuring out where things are gonna go. So I'm gonna do that and route some of the cable management, and then we'll call it a night for tonight, because there really won't be much else for us to do. All right, so we're gonna start doing the cable management on these. I'm a little bit anal when it comes to cable management, not to use the back of my PC as an example. We're gonna get to that. It's a mess right now because I've moved it from where it usually is. But for stuff like this, I like these. P-clamps, D-clamps, some kind of clamp. They're really cheap. This whole kit for 306 pieces was $9 or $10. And they usually, a lot of them come with screws. So I'm gonna find the right size for all the cables that go into the wheel at least, and try and route the brake cable as well. I will at least get that stuff routed, so tomorrow when we're able to get everything bolted in, it all looks good. Alright, so I got everything that's mounted on here already cable managed. The last thing that we can really do tonight is mark and drill the holes for the pedals And then once we have the actual like pedal holes marked, then we can use a printout to figure out exactly where the front holes are, because they're underneath here and a bolt needs to come up through the bottom to connect to those. But you'll see these P-clamps really do make light work of routing and hiding cables. I have the power cable going that way, the shifter coming around the back, and then the USB cable coming from the wheelbase down back through here and back and around to the back. Now, yes, there's a bunch of sawdust everywhere and cables aren't 100% managed from like a router and everything, but that's something that we're going to tackle once everything's done and we're not making any more of a mess. But I'm going to go ahead and drill the pedal holes, and then we're going to call it a night after I just route the cable that goes from there. So let's jump on that. All right, not too bad. We got at least those done. And then honestly, the trickiest part is just measuring where the mounting holes are underneath. For the pedals drilled and it's ready to be mounted, again, I got the wrong length. That's on me, but the pedal install is actually pretty easy, as everything has been from Fanatec, just using their drilling templates. As again, if you print them off at 100% scale, it means they are true to size, and where you mark on the template is actually going to fit your equipment. That being said, that's pretty much what we can do right now. I'm gonna go ahead and route the cable for the pedals and get that managed, and then I'm gonna check back in tomorrow once we are able to head down to the hardware store and get the last 5 bolts that we need, and then we should be able to get everything secured in place and be ready to rock and roll. All right, it's the next day and I've returned the bolts that are incorrect, but that being said, let's go ahead and try and assemble everything now, like get everything bolted down, and then the setup should be done. All right, so I'm done getting everything secured and the rest of the cables managed. Right now I'm updating the firmware, but as of right now, here is our finished sim rig. So yeah, I'd say, one second. I'd say that for the price of $100 for the cockpit, the setup came out pretty well. We spent a little bit of money on the rug and just making sure that the corner's looking right, and this corner of our office is definitely going to evolve over time. We have some ideas as far as what we want to do to make it our own and make it feel a little bit more themed. Driver updates for the pedals and wheel, and then I am going to test it out a little bit on Assetto just with the monitor way off to the left. It's not going to be perfect, but I really want to try it out and see how the force feedback feels. But that's it. This is our driving sim. As soon as we get a TV this weekend, it'll be a dedicated corner. Don't mind all the wires behind my computer. I gotta take everything off and redo it and route it all clean now that we have some extra components that are connected to it. But that being said, I'm very happy with the way that this came out. It really couldn't have come out better for the price involved. So that being said, I think that's going to wrap up this week's video. Make sure, if you guys did like the build series on this, to leave a thumbs up and drop some comments down below. Let me know what kind of content you would like to see on the channel that involves sim driving. That could be drifting, Tauge. I know there's some cool servers where you're carving through traffic. Whatever you guys want to see, let me know, because I'm more than familiar with making gaming videos and everything like that. I have everything to do recording for it. But during the summer, while it's way too hot to go spend full days at the track, this will be my way of being able to feel somewhat like I'm driving something and keep my muscle memory. And then also, it's just too hot during the day to go out in the garage and work. So before it becomes night and I can go out to the garage and comfortably wrench on our real cars, this will give me, again, something else to do. Aside from that, I hope you guys liked the video. Leave a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and stay tuned for more content, because more content's always coming. You all have a good one. Stay easy, and until next time, peace.